What up, though, Detroit? How you living? It's your boy, man. Coming at y'all real quick, man. No Miss J in the building. I obviously the draft has officially concluded today. What a heck of a draft that Brad Holmes and Lions have had. I want to talk to y'all about my feelings real quick about the overall draft. Give y'all a quick grade, everything else. Quick break, quick breakdown about each player. Talk about the UDFA's and just give my overall quick opinion about it. My own initial reaction, so to speak, about the 2024 Detroit, Michigan NFL draft. Thank you to the NFL for choosing us to host it this year, man. It was a blast. I had fun down there for the time I was able to get down there. And we finna get into it, man, right after this. Your boy Brad Holmes came out here and represented us very good in this draft for these past 3 days, bro. I gotta be honest with you, man. First, you start off with what we already know with Terrion Arnold, man, being traded up to the 24 by the Cowboys. Not to mention that this draft started off offensive heavy in the first round, and you know what? I was shocked because it sounds like he was stating that he had both Terrion and who I'm about to mention the Nets on a board, but they didn't think they would be having a chance to get him. And I guess the opportunity came, they went up and got him. You know, especially when it comes to the second round pick, who they also has they top two cornerbacks, I believe, in this draft, and they top two players on their board, I believe, as well. So from where they were at, so they, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead. Second round, they go to Missouri, get the cornerback, man, Ennis Rate Straw. That's why I got my phone. So Ennis Rate Straw. I'm trying to make sure I got the name right. Still got funny names coming out the draft. Okay, so man, what I love about him, he's real physical, bro. I love the physicality from him, man. And that's the part that sticks. I love my defensive backs when they're physical. Really, a lot of my players, linebackers too, but especially my DBs, man. Whether they safety, nickel, you know what I'm saying? Y'all know I love me some Brian Branch because for what? He's very physical. He plays around the ball, and that's what I see out of Ray Straw, man. I see out of Ennis, bro. He has that it factor, man. He wants to hit you, and that's what I think people are sleeping on. He's always right where he's supposed to be at, and it's very competitive, man. That's one thing both our corners are competitive. They love to get their hands on the football, and if you want outside corners, you want them to be able to cover the deep end, you want them to be physical, and you want them to have the ability to play, get their hands on the football, man. I think that's in that confidence too as well. You can't forget that, and that's what both these young men bring to us, man. So shout out to Brad Holmes for those picks. Then you go into the third round. We didn't have a third round pick because all the trading we did in the all season, including this draft. So you didn't get nobody in the third round, but day three, things got interesting, right? Uh, Lions trade up future third round pick and some late round picks between this year and next year. That's how I'm gonna word it. To go up with the Jets and get pick 126, and they take my guy Giovanni Manu out of University of British Columbia. Bro, this dude, I nicknamed him Baby Sewell because this guy is athletic, 350 pounds, 6'8", and can move. Like his level of control with his body is like insane. And you know he's a smart guy based off the school that he's went to. So that's another thing, man. That dude is a specimen. He's a project for now. It's not stated that he's going to start clearly because you still got Decker and Sewell. But we never know, man. This guy could be our future regardless of what side of tackle he play on. I think he's that talented, that athletic, and bro, he looks like he looks like a guy you wouldn't want to go see at a club. That's all I'm saying. Just like it was with Sewell a few years ago, man. I'm telling you, Brad is trying to add some athleticism on this O line. There's uncanny and the versatility that's coming with it. Even when you look at Sorsdal last year, guy that can move you. The same thing with this guy. He can really move you, man. Coming out of a small school, in my opinion, British Columbia. That's interesting. You know, they traded up, and it was stated that the Cowboys were sort of interested in him. and Lions hurry up and salvage that one quick. So, I salute to Brad Holmes. I love the range of where they look to for talent, man, especially when it comes to the trenches on the offensive line. You know, man, William Mary here now with British of Columbia, man, that's just I love it. I love it. And they look for the physical traits and the intellect. That's what I love about Brad Holmes' research on a lot of his players, man. Especially when it comes to his linemen, his DBs, bro. He's ace with that. And his receivers, too. You know what I'm saying? He's not afraid to go for those guys that you know of. So, yeah, man, salute to Brad Holmes. And then they trade back, I believe it was with Philly. I could be wrong. They also trade future picks as well to go back into the fourth round again with pick number 132 and they will go and take Sion Vaki. Now, he's a guy who's a lot of times like guys like King called just a weapon because he's drafted to be a running back, but he's also a safety. And he's just as good at one position as he is the other one. That's the strange thing about it. You know, usually you think somebody plays better at one position than they do more when they're these type of players, but he plays almost equally as good as he is as a safety as he is as a running back. And they worked him out a little bit. Receiver, rumor has it. So, you know, also he probably go be able to help in the blocking assignments too, because that's probably what they go have him out there doing from time to time. So I think if you really want to get some more depth into this guy, I'll have his link in the description. But go check out my guy, Avery Giovanni, the Spirit Detroit podcast, man. Go check him out, Spirit Detroit podcast. That should be the link of the channel. But go check my guy out, man. He did a video and specified he knew his spirit, no pun intended, that this dude would be a Lion. So you can't take it away from him, man. And two, to the people who had an issue with this pick and the pick before it, understand something. The draft is not meant for you mock people, okay? Draft is all about the future, okay? So clearly you had injuries at the running back throughout the year last year. David Montgomery was down at times, and it was on Gibbs and Reynolds. And then when Gibbs went out, it was on David Montgomery and Reynolds. And not to mention there was a game or two I remember both of them not being available. So at the end of the day, you might want some depth in that backfield, considering that running the football is one of our main strengths. So that being on the offensive line as well. So in that being closing, plus y'all whined about the secondary. Now and moving forward, yeah, man, great picks, man. And then they end the sixth round with my guy, man. They traded up what I want to say was I'm losing on who I remember who they traded with, but I traded up with pick 189 to get LSU's Mekhi Wingo, defensive tackle LSU. And dude is, although he's short, I don't care about how your height is or your measurables. If you got that dog in you, you got that dog in you. And this dude is a damn show dog. He's a leader on that defense. You know, they try to say he was injured, but he worked his way back and played. He's one of those great guys, man, that can really go out there and play. I'm not saying he's going to be one of our rotational guys. He might be on the practice squad for all we know. But I'm just acknowledging the talent, man, what they saw. I was very interested. If you follow me on Twitter, you would know that I was very interested in him, along with the guy they drafted for the final pick, Christian Mahogany, guard out of Boston, man. And you know what I'm saying, another guy that could be for the future, man. Maybe a lot of people are saying, oh, he's going to start out the way. You still got Sorsdal that's going to push for a starter, and you got Zeter, who likely will be the starter. So you got to be mindful of that. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I do think both these players have a future. First time I ever seen them draft an LSU player in a very long time. But yeah, man, that's what I'm saying. You got a lot of talent for the future. I told people that this draft has to be built exactly for the future, man, because aren't you tired of these no names coming from other teams that we never heard of? When every time we lose a guy who probably wasn't the best starter we could have, and then you go get some practice squad guy. Now you got some guys that can rotate. We don't know. I know people thinking that the corners are going to start and this and that and the third, but you never know, man. They might start, they might start the more experienced players, man, because that's how they roll. People were upset last year about Gibbs not being a starter. You had people upset that Kirby didn't start his first year. You had people that was upset that this player didn't start, that player didn't start. So it happens a lot of times with the Lions lately, man. Since this regime has got here, guys you expect to be starters, they don't quite do it. Jack Campbell wasn't quite a starter. I think he contributed game one, but he wasn't considered the starter. So that's just the way they do business, man, these days, man. There's very few players they draft that were the actual starters. I think might have been Lee McNeil, obviously Aiden Hutchinson and Penei Sewell were starters. They might have been the only ones that started. I know people say Amon St. Brown. I don't think he was starting, but he was playing game one. So you could say he was a semi-starter at best. I think the same thing for McNeil, but anyway, they like to wait and let their guys learn the curve first, watch the veterans, and then come in and play. Because they're about building for the future. That's why they bring the free agents that they bring in here to kind of take the beating first and let the young draft hits play under them and so they can get more right and dodge the very rookie wall that you start off with sometimes. And I think that's why they go with that. And then you just watch them pay their two of their top players from their first few drafts. So I think that's why the Lions do it like this, man. People have to be a little bit patient. I know people just expect for every pick to be a game one starter that Brad Holmes makes, but that's not always the case, you know what I'm saying? And I feel you. You know what I'm saying? Don't get it twisted. I feel you. You want to see some of these guys play. You don't have to wait on your first team's veterinarians play, but, you know, it's about letting, because, you know, it's transitions. You know, last year I noticed something. No matter what things transpired in the earlier part of the season, there was things that weren't happening earlier in the season that was going for us that had us upset. And then we start seeing progressions in other areas from some of the young guys. Like, just when you thought you had us figure out, here comes a new young player stepping into the rotation, and now he's doing something, showing us something new and refreshing our game plan a little bit too when we have to go through every week. So that's another thing about letting these guys wait and learn for a minute, because once you start adding each pick in when we need them, you know what I'm saying, in the season that they come in as rookies, you know, they started helping kind of refresh the roster a little bit about what we can do on the field as well. So, like, you know, you didn't start off with Gibbs. It was a heavy David Montgomery last year, and then all of a sudden, you know, now you get more and more Gibbs, and he kind of changed the game a little bit. And as J-Mo was struggling earlier in the year, as soon as the late end of the year, you start seeing him go to him a little bit more. Now you're seeing something else kick up in the game, and we kept using that, and it got us through the playoffs. And, you know what I'm saying, I'm not saying it's going to be the exact same way this year, but, you know, you want to free up your draft picks every year. So if you're going to build out the draft, which is the right way to do it, you want to supplement free agency. And even if you do trade future draft picks, you want it to be for another draft pick that's going to be for the future. So that way you whittle down your issues, your major issues. So now, you know, maybe next year we get that big X receiver that everybody wants. Maybe next year we get that linebacker that's maybe an impact player we're not thinking about. Maybe we get that big time, you know, O-lineman, big time, whatever it is. You have the ability to do that because you're getting these players out of the way and taking it now when the opportunity made itself aware. You know, you have to go based off the board. Brad Holmes, I realize now, he likes to let the board fall to him and then trade and make a move, because it makes it more sense for him to let it narrow down as close as he can get it to. Then he likes to ensure that he gets what he wants by making that trade. Usually it's trading up. Last year he felt the need to trade down. So, you know, we still waiting on guys right now from the last couple of drafts to really see what they're about. So the team is young and they're hungry, and you have to see a very interesting competition. We still get to see Hendon Hooker coming to preseason this year, man. So that's another beautiful thing right there. We haven't even saw him yet. All the debates about if he should take over, now we get to see what he looks like. You guess what you got to do? You got to put some young talent offensive line that's for the future to see if they worthy of making this roster. And then he has to show, he shows the quarterback. So you still got Green. You still have other guys, man. So this draft, man, like I said, was a bang-out draft by Brad Holmes. And he did a good job. You know what I'm saying? I love the UDFAs, man. I'm going to give you a few of the names of it, man. I'm going to quickly give y'all a few of the names of it. So we got Isaiah Williams, wide receiver. Speaking of wide receiver, you know, we was talking about, a lot of us are saying to get an S receiver, or just a receiver in general. And I noticed with Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell, the two people who I can see that got paid were wide receiver Isaiah Williams and center, ironically, another position we're all kind of worried about, because right now we know his time is very, very limited. He could be another year or two, so he might be done, and with all the injuries he's dealt. So it's Duke Clemens from UCLA, $60,000 guaranteed, and wide receiver Isaiah Williams from Illinois, $240,000 guaranteed, man. So that I'm just saying, like, that don't mean they're gonna make the roster. It just means like they're really in trouble and offers the. Or you also could have things that's going on in their personal life that they really need money and they probably feel for them, so they up the ante on them a little bit more than most other guys too. That could also be part of it. You know, you hear the stories about guys going undrafted and they're homeless and they struggling, and team might lowball them on getting 10 grand, which is a decent amount of money, but it may not be enough for the problems in the situation because they still got to pay for traveling, stuff like that. So these guys, they probably really tempted one of these guys in there and they said, hey, we're going to pay them, but that doesn't mean they're even going to make the roster. They may not even come back for the practice squad. They just tempt them so they can get first dibs. That's probably what the likely is. We'll know by the inside the den. Maybe they'll touch on these guys or something. Who knows? I can't wait to watch that about this draft and about this. I expect this is going to be one of the biggest inside the dens since, you know, the last one they showed with the playoff game, because this one's going to be rehearsing the draft and all the stuff that went into the draft, and then they're gonna. Oh man, I can't wait to watch it. I can't wait to watch it, bro. I cannot wait. Was voted, man. Everybody shot team for McDonald's. Man, it was the draft. The mission to all players drafted this draft, man. I know a couple of key names. JJ McCarthy with Minnesota. Can't wait to destroy him. We will be seeing Blake Corum coming here too, getting 12. And Bengals might have took one of our D linemen, and I think the Cowboys took somebody too. I forget exactly where everybody went, but yeah, man, it was several Michigan players, especially day 2 of the draft. That's when day 2 and the second and third round. That's when they really went. You know what I'm saying? But so salute to all the Michigan players. Man, Keon Coleman was a player too that got drafted by the Bills. Like him as a prospect, former Spartan, man. So salute to him. Just name a few of those guys, man. I can't wait. You know, I know there are divisional rivals loaded up too this year, but I'm not that worried about them. You know what I'm saying? They're kind of young. They got some tough defense, but that's why the Lions, with their approach they did, they still got guys developing like Jamon Gibbs. So I think we'll still be able to compete, and you know, hopefully this offense, you know, Goff himself personally and Ben Johnson can really work this thing out. Maybe Aaron Glenn can make whatever he does have now on defense work. You know, it's not a dramatic improved defense, but it's way better than it has been. So we're at that point where we're starting to get to that next level, and I think we'll see that this year. Everybody's got to get a little bit better on each team. So I think the Lions' chances are still going to fare better, you know, this year, and that's what I'm rolling with, man. Salute to the NFL for giving us the opportunity to have the draft here this year, man. We don't know the next time they'll come back, but I thank them for a reason to have us here, man, because, you know, us picking late too was just such a good thing, man. You know what I'm saying? Because it was a good problem to have, because now you can watch how the board falls instead of having the pressure trying to get the right player with the right pick now. So, you know, that worked out in our favor, man. Let the board kind of fall to us, and we get to build our team for the young. And man, just thank you to the NFL, bro, for letting us have this moment, man. So, you know, shout out to Mayor Duggan, who announced the second round pick, and Barry being out there. Well, shout out to Barry in general, and Big Gretch was there as well, announcing the pick, the concerts, the music that was going on. Big Sean being down there, Eminem starting off with the What Up Doe, the What Up Doe segment, Eminem all out there, man. Oh my God, it was just something epic, man. Shout out to everybody, to all the content creators, Big Willie, Big Cass, man, all the interview people that reached out to us, had pictures with us, interviewed them, you know, everybody that was there, man. Just salute and shout out to y'all, man. Make sure y'all, man, if y'all like anything I said, man, hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. And I got content coming, and we go be streaming tomorrow on, I believe, the DSN channel. So make sure y'all there. And man, salute to everybody, bro. I can't say it enough, man. Shout out to every content creator, man. All the people who couldn't make it there, unfortunately. Shout out to y'all too, man. Subscribe, man, to D313SP, DSN. Hit the subscribe button on my channel right there. Hit that notification bell. And I'm no Miss J, and I'll catch y'all soon, man. Peace.